the squad picked up on the on game time from having such a long time off. But we will run through both teams so you guys have an understanding of who's playing for who. Basically, Cornish Pirates start with a strong lineup, 2 changes from last week. Malik Holding at fullback, Robin Wedlake and Alex O'Meara on the wings. A new centre partnership of Shay Tucker and Roy Parata following the injuries to De Batista and Patterson. Luke Scully retains his place at 10 after a perfect debut with a couple of tries and conversions, partnered by JB Bruselier. The front row sees Marlon Walker, Jai Tak and Dan Frost packed down together, backed up in the second row by Fatinga Limalu and Danny Cutmore, with a confrontational back row of Josh Caulfield, John Stevens and Tom Duncan. Jack Andrews, Rodman and Kerry Curry on the bench with Basil Gett, Shannon, Bowell, Davies and Wyatt. Should be some interesting battles in there.
And the Saracens team with some names we will all recognise. At 15 is Elliot Obertayimbo. On the wings, Alex Lewington and Sean Maitland, with Duncan Taylor and Juan Pablo Cecinio in the centre. Manu Vunapola and Alid Davies make up the halfbacks. In the front row, it's Richard Barrington, Capelli Pifoletti and Vincent Koch, with Callum Hunter-Hill and Tim Swinson in the second row, and the back row of Mike Rhodes, Sean Raffel and Jackson Ray. On the bench, we have Sam Crane, Eroni Maui, Alec Clary, Joel Kapoku, Andy Christie, and the backs, Tom Whiteley, Dom Morris and Rotimi Shegan.
Marshalled game. So Scully kicks deep. It's a strong chase from the Pirates, but well collected. As we said before the game, it will be a very structured game plan from Saracens that we've all come to expect. And it starts with a box kick from Aled Davies. It's good height, it's competed. Maitland makes a tackle. And it's a knock forward and a deliberate offside there for the Pirates. So, strong start from Saracens.
Yeah, they didn't even muck about with the phase in getting the exit ready, straight from the kickoff, and that is the standards we'll see this afternoon. That box kick was on the money, and we saw the chase and the knock-on effect that had, and it gives a chance for Saracens to really put some pressure on in this first couple of minutes.
So, a decent kick from Vunapola, kicking just inside to the Pirates 22. It's not very often you see Malik drop under the high ball, so obviously early signs of some jitters from the Pirates, but an opportunity to show what the defence is about as the Saracens pack form the line out. One would expect a maul here to lay down some dominance early doors. It's a sloppy throw though. Limalu picks it up, gets over the gain line, breaks a couple of tackles. Ball goes back to the back to Scully, who drills the ball deep into the Saracens half. Claimed by Maitland, who decides to put the ball straight back down. Scully back there again, sees a bit of space, so again opts for down the middle of the pitch. Saracens look to run it back, sees an opportunity on the counter, but a strong tackle from Cutmore and Scully combined to bring that proceeding to a halt. Bit of a counter ruck, Marlon Walker making a mess of the breakdown, but Saracens build a phase just to get their tempo set as they look to get set for another box kick. Davis at the back of the breakdown. Again, another fantastic kick. JB has time to get in the air though, but again the ball is dropped. It's gone backwards this time though, and Pirates have managed to reclaim it. Tom Duncan clears up the mess with a small little pick down the short side. Space on the short side here, Pirates have got numbers. JB's noticed it. Signs of an offside, but Alex O'Meara one-on-one with a great step. Gets on the inside of Maitland's, but is eventually brought to deck. Marlon Walker steps up at first receiver. Fakes the tip, carries into contact. Doesn't quite break the gain line, but there is a bit of momentum. Limalu sees the gap down the short side though, gets over. Pirates support a bit slow to arrive though, and unfortunately Saracens get the turnover. But promising signs there from the Pirates. They're not afraid to play rugby in their own half.
Yeah, no surprises on what we expected to see there from Saracens, kicking early, but a bit of ambition there from the Pirates, trying to get the ball to the edge. 2 great breaks from Fatinga, and Saracens coming up with an early steal. I'm not sure he was supporting his own body weight, but that's for the referee's
It's a lot of body weight, mate, to be fair. I can support that with my legs. It's interesting looking through the Saracens team. There's a lot of depth in it. They've been toing and throwing with some of their selections throughout their kind of prolonged pre-season. But you need to bear in mind they've got 6 players away on England camp as well. So the remainder of the season, they've got more strength to bring into this, what is already a very strong side. So Saracens claim their own line this time. They opt for the maul. Pirates competed, which leaves them a bit vulnerable. The Saracens get a little bit of momentum up. Marlon Walker hasn't changed his mind though, so he's allowed to stick there, putting a little bit of pressure on the Saracens. Maul, but Davies decides time to release it. Cicinho collects it at first receiver, it goes out the back. Vunipola puts into the wide channel. Bit of footwork, but eventually brought to deck just inside the Pirates 22. There's a strong counter up from the Pirates there, but Sarah Cox not happy with that. And it's an infringement, so a penalty to Saracens. So this will be interesting. They have an opportunity to kick the corner, although they take the points early doors. What do you see them doing?
I think they'll kick to the corner here. It's not a given kick on the 15-metre line, so I think they'll be looking to put some pressure on and keep playing the game in this area of the field.
It's good weather for rugby today. Obviously, I looked at my car on the way in. 10 degrees, sun is shining. I say it's 10 degrees. It's not where we're sitting. It's about -2. But it's a good day for running rugby. Whether that's a good thing or a bad thing for both these teams, they've both got exciting backlines, but they've also both got the pack that could mix it in the mud.
Yeah, I think in the early stages of the game we'll see more of the latter, and we'll see the packs going toe for toe. And Saracens, I think, will just look to exert a huge amount of pressure on the Pirates, squeeze them, force them to make mistakes, force them to overplay. Oh, and a steal there from the Pirates.
So it's a steal from Cutmore, but Saracens clear it up, and they're right on the Pirates' line now. So there's going to be some large-stitch defence here. Pirates on the try line, as Saracens look to go for the power game. A strong initial tackle from the Pirates. The Saracens are driven back slightly, but they regroup and they're ready to go again. No sign of putting any width on it as we speak, but the backs are ready to line out. Cicinho ready for a hard line, but again, the Pirates infringe in front of the post this time, so this might be more of a cut and dry decision to go for the posts. No. So the game has changed. It's a pick and go. The Luke Cowan-Dickey-esque attack, and the Pirates find themselves still on their try line. Saracens think they're over. Cox having a good look, but she's not convinced as is yet. So Saracens will go again. Saracens loading both sides now, two sides of attack. They've got numbers on this open side if they decide to spread it, but they're still opting to stay with the forwards at the moment. Pirates have 5 defenders inside their own posts at the moment, leaving them a lot of space in the wide channel. But Saracens up for the pick and go. They are over the line, but Pirates, have they got underneath of it? The ball is recycled. See, for me, as a back, I'd be screaming now, Murray, would you? Just Maitland standing here with no one in front of him, and the closest player, Malik, on the 15-metre line. He should really get that ball in his hands.
Yeah, it does sometimes seem a mystery why they don't get rid of the ball faster. You could call for it. I doubt the scrum half would give it to you still.
I spent my career calling for a ball that never came. Saracens get over the try eventually, but unfortunately they're held up. But we go back from an early infringement, and Saracens have decided to go again. So they are peppering that Cornish Pirates line at the moment, and they look like they're over. But again, ref Sarah Cox isn't happy. That's a fantastic tackle from the Pirates this time, where Saracens lose a little bit of momentum. But as they come again, we talk about them as an efficient machine, and they're demonstrating what they're really about now, aren't they, Murray?
Yeah, all this pressure has come from the Pirates disrupting the second line out of the day, but it wasn't cleanly disrupted, and Saracens managed to get the ball back, and they're exerting all this pressure on the Pirates line now.
Again, they've been on the line for a while now, and this will really start to tell on the Pirates' defence. As I said, they demonstrated good defence last week against Jersey, but with no disrespect to Jersey, Saracens is a different animal, as they do decide to throw the ball out wide, and it goes into the wide channel to Maitland, but he's covered well and met by Parata, who drags him down, but he just had too much work to do as Maitland goes over for a try in the corner. So, interesting start from the Pirates and Saracens there. Obviously what we were expecting, but it ultimately came down to a little bit of discipline and a couple of errors from the Pirates that cost them that first try.
Yeah, a string of penalties, 3-4 penalties on the bounce, which will be a concern, but that is what comes with pressure. And in the end, a really good finish from Maitland in the corner. Some really good defence, though, from the Pirates. Probably relying a lot on that emotional energy they talked about before the game to repel them. And it will be interesting to see how much that takes out of the Pirates when that emotion possibly drifts off. I
was going to say, emotional energy only works for so long, doesn't it? You have it pent up from basically a week to 2 weeks worth of preparation. But when you find that you're basically exerting it all in the first 10 minutes whilst defending a try, it's not an easy kick here for Vunipola, though. So, 5 metres in from the touchline, there or thereabouts, if we round it up to the nearest 5. It's a decent nudge, but it just fades wide. So the scores are 5-0 to Saracens as we come to the end of the first 10-minute period. So again, Scully with the kickoff. Sad signs though, John Stevens looking like he's being taken off. So Kiri enters the fray. Big fan of Stevens. I played a little bit of rugby with him whilst he was relatively new and I was relatively old. And he's really come on strengths, and it's demonstrated by having Kiri on the bench behind him. But that's not a good sign for the Pirates so early in the game.
No, Antonio Kiri, a great player, really suits the looser format of the game. And it'll be a miss for Johnny, someone who works incredibly hard, got incredible fitness levels. It's a fast pitch, a hard surface. So I'm not sure if that's a HIA he's gone off for, and we will hopefully see him again.
It's interesting, we talk about his work rate, and it's demonstrated by he got his injury, because 1 second he's defending, I'm pointing to the post, you can't see me, 1 second he's defending under the posts, and he's the one making an attempted try-saving tackle in the corner. So Pirates do kick it long, this time no box kicking, the ball is returned straight to Malik, who reclaims it, and he decides to put a bit of air on himself. Tom Duncan with the chase, Davies collects, but he's well met and driven backwards by Duncan. Pirates with 3 at the back, Saracens looking like they're going to box kick, but Pirates making a mess of the breakdown, so they're not going to make it easy for them. Again, this will be something they've analysed, and they don't want to give them any easy balls, so they have the opportunity to put that kick on the money.
Pirates be much more happy with that kick return, and to be able to get down and put some pressure on Saracens in their half. The early pressure all unfortunately came from that drop ball from the kick-off, and Pirates never got out of the half again, so it's good to see them competing in the right areas of the pitch.
Davies again with the box kick. This one more in field. There's 2 going for it. Malik calls strong for it, but Alex Amira gets up for it. Maitland competes well though, and the ball goes back towards Saracens, but it's cleaned up by Limalu, who's having a storming game start so far, but it is a knock-on from the Pirates, so we will see our first scrum here. I've been Googling scrums, so I might have a better idea of what's going on here. I've learnt about boring in, chasing feet, and slipping the bind.
I'll leave all 3 of those to you.
Interesting battle though. Obviously, start of the game last week, Pirates' first 3 scrums resulted in a penalty, but grew into the game and ended up dominating the scrums towards the latter half. So it'll be interesting to see the battle of the front rows. Obviously, there's a lot of experience in the Saracens front row with Vincent Koch and Barrington in particular propping. But for the Pirates, Jay Tyack and Marlon Walker are no slugs. So it could be a very good battle for the next 50 or so minutes before both teams decide to replace their entire front row like it's done these days.
I think 18 months ago, Vincent Koch playing in a World Cup final, and 18 months on the
progressed to the Mene. Which I have to say, Murray is looking absolutely fantastic today, by the way. You and Peter Joyce are doing a sterling job keeping it green.
That's Pete Joyce.
Who did I say?
I just meant more of an emphasis on Pete Joyce's work rather than mine.
Oh, you told me to say it was all you. That's fine. So, first scrum. Again, it goes down. Jay Tyack collapses on this side. But the ref decides to give the penalty to the Pirates. So, a lot of pressure there on Barrington, and he concedes. Jay Tyack smugly walking back, getting applause from the Pirates pack.
Yeah, great to see an early call, and the touch judge making the call there for the referee, and really using both sets of eyes.
So Scully with an opportunity now. No real win, so he can push it, go for maximum distance, which he does, and that's a fantastic kick. Gets it inside the Saracens 22, or just outside. I reckon it was inside. So Pirates' first opportunity to attack in Saracens' half. Do you reckon? Signs last week were stating that they're trying to get to the middle of the pitch. I suppose they're not quite over to the levels where they can push them over, so are they going to try and attack the midfield and then play from both sides?
That was particularly impressive last week from the Pirates with Patterson and Di Battista in the midfield, and obviously a different set of centres today, but the same approach.
Shea Tucker with the big carry. The ball doesn't go by hand, but it goes over Caulfield's shoulder, so Pirates do retain possession. There is space on the short side. Pirates scream for it. Scully doesn't quite get it as quick as he wants. Kiri with a pump. Takes 2 people to bring him down. Pressured on the floor, but again, ball is retained. Marlon Walker with a carry, but he's well met. There's not a lot of rolling away from the Saracens tackle, obviously attacked in. Amira sees a gap himself though at first receiver, but is dragged down. Pirates with quick ball this time. Down Frost gets in the passing channel, but the ball eventually gets to Scully. passes it off to Malik, who is dragged down. Pirates reset. Cutmore with a carry. He's held up though, so he's going to have to get to deck, otherwise it'll be a turnover, but he has managed to. Caulfield again. Pirates are wrapping around the corner, but the Saracens' defence, as it stands, is up to task. A couple of snipes around the fringe to keep them honest. Marlon Walker at fly half, Dan Frost at fly half, tips it on. Shay Tucker gets a bit of his hands free, but decides best to keep hold of it. Again, Marlon Walker carries, but that's the second time in a row he's been hit hard. Parata steps in the first receiver, show and go. Pirates showing a bit of adventure, but we're not really getting past the first receiver at the moment. Not really challenging the outside channels.
Penalty advantage coming from the Pirates here from the high tackle by Michael Rhodes. Be interesting to see if the blowing the whistle.
So are we looking at points?
Yeah, I think Pirates will take the points here for their first prolonged attack in the Saracens 22. Be really pleased to come away with 3 points.
It's interesting. The Pirates have got very good players around the pitch, but unfortunately, and they're trying to play a bit of rugby. But there was maybe 15 phases there, and maybe once or twice it went outside the first receiver. They're going to have to show a bit more adventure and challenge the Saracens' defence a little bit more than that if they're going to get a grasp on this game.
Yeah, I think it will be a little bit of risk reward. I think I was really surprised how hard Saracens went at the breakdown there. They actually went at most breakdowns in those phases, especially off 9. So obviously if you get caught vulnerable in the wider channels, you haven't got the people to hit that breakdown, you do run the risk of those turnovers. And Saracens really do look like they focused on the breakdown from the first 15 minutes here.
It's a double-edged sword though, isn't it? Because if you never kind of play that wide channel, then the defence of the opposing team can come in tight and you're running into very tight spaces. So it's that cliche, you earn the right to go wide, but you also need to earn that right to go through the middle as well. If you start putting pressure on the wide channels, then the defence has to spread out, and that's where the holes are created, and that's when the players like Dan Frost and Rodri come into the kind of equation. But it is a successful penalty for the Pirates as Dave Scully slots it through the sticks, which takes the score to Cornish Pirates 3, Saracens 5. So Vunipola with the restart. Very much is the trick these days that is a high, deep restart with a strong chase, which, as expected, Saracens do deploy. Cutmore gets in the air, but it's gone over his head. JB's behind to clear it up, and he gets the pass inside. Malik Holding helping him out, but he's driven right back onto his own try line. So Pirates have retained possession, but in a very uncomfortable position.
I think we're seeing early on in the game the emphasis that Saracens put on that kick chase. I think I heard them refer to it as the crumbs. They pick up all the crumbs, and we can see it from the early stages of the game. They're picking up everything around that kick chase, around where the ball bounces. They're first there.
Pirates decide to go through 10 in a very small try line area, and it is charged down by Ray, but Pirates do retain possession with the line out. But as you said, Saracens doing the little things really well at the moment. It's a simple game plan done very well, which is very much what they like. But Pirates do win their own line out, and Dan Frost gets to stretch his legs a little bit. Lamalu tips it on. Walker this time gets a half a shoulder, gets through, doesn't get absolutely clouted this time, and Pirates do set themselves up. Scully's in the backfield, but looking like we're opting for the box kick. Alex Amira will be chasing this and looking to put pressure on Sean Maitland. And it's a lovely kick. Alex Amira is a lightning player, probably one of the fastest, but he's cradled and ushered out the way. Ref happy that it's done legally. No, ref not happy it's done legally. So fantastic chase there by Alex Amira, forced to put pressure on the returning players, and ultimately wins the penalty for the Pirates.
That's brilliant from the Pirates there, outdoing what Saracens do. Really impressive kick on the money. To land a box kick in that 5 metre channel is a really impressive skill, and you see that the chase that came from that is brilliant from the Pirates.
Alex Amira, very, very quick. From my hometown club of Camberley, progressed through the ranks, played Ireland under 21, so he's a fantastic player. He's really grown into himself as he's been at the Pirates for the last couple of years, and he'll be excited about playing this game. So Pirates penalty doesn't go that far. They go for the overthrow for Kirikiri, but it isn't gained, and Saracens look to play outside in their own half. Ray with the carry, but is eventually brought down by Dan Frost. Bit of an injury to Tyak in the Pirates front row at the moment, though. He's not looking very comfortable. Physio's come on. we talk about obviously the little things, but wingers always get credit for, you know, their 50, 60 metre tries and stuff like that. But what Maitland and Alex Amir have done so far, it's just chase. You know, it's work rate, it's effort, it's something that you don't have to be good at, you just need to want to do it. Alex Amir in that particular instance chased so well that he had to get pushed out the way, otherwise he would compete in. Maitland on 2 of the box 6 so far. So the emphasis isn't just on the kick. You know, what's the cliche again? I love a cliche. A kick is only as good as its chase, and in this instance we've got 2 teams that are very well drilled with the kick chase.
Yeah, it's quite often referred to now as a back 3. More than the individual wingers and the fullback. And if you watch a game of rugby, you'll see a winger will be under a high ball more often than a fullback. So that's something that's really interesting when you see how much wingers have to work on their high ball skills, their positioning, and it's not just about being quick and those finishing skills.
Concerns for the Pirates though, obviously Stevens has already been taken off with an assumed HIA, and now we've got another prop down.
John Stevens I think he's just returning to the field, so I see Kiri wandering off there. So Stevens must have passed that HIA or a stitch up to cover a cut, and he's back on. He'll be round to go.
Well, that's good news for the Pirates. Eagle Eye Murray. Don't know. I've got scaffolding in the way. I couldn't see that. So again, first scrum went to the Pirates. Penalty. Obviously Saracens put in this time, but the battle of Barrington and Tyack will continue.
Pirates one in the backfield here from the kick in an awkward position for a scrum. So it'll be interesting to see if the Saracens kick early.
These days, people play to space. All the good teams play to space, and that doesn't necessarily mean they run to the wide channels. It means if the wingers are up, then they'll kick to the backfield. If the wingers are back, they'll run it to the wide channel. Saracens have a free kick and they opt for an up and under, but it's not a particularly good kick. Ball goes out to Robin Medlake, who swings it into the wide channel. It's well reclaimed. Dan Frost whips the ball at the back to Scully, who puts a bit of width on it, but again, Marlon Walker doesn't quite get the ball to hand. Saracens see an opportunity as Davis throws into the wide channels. Strong carry by Vunipola, handing off 2 Pirate defenders. Saracens getting a bit of momentum now. First time we've really seen him with the ball in hand, but Dan Frost not happy. Puts a decent shot in and pulls the ball back, but unfortunately Saracens do retain possession. Danny Cutmore, Shay Tucker making a mess at the breakdown. Ref happy it was legal though. Rolling away towards the scrum half. Very clever work. So Saracens decide to slow it down. Ball goes back to Vunipola, assesses options, decide there's space. Drops the ball to the boot and dribbles it on the floor. Holding picks it up, but ref playing advantage, so we will go back for a penalty.
Going back to the work of the wingers, they've been really impressed with Maitland this first 20 minutes. That was him, carried strong in the midfield, and he's had some huge small moments in the game so far, and I think he's sporting a bloody nose, and he lost his gum shield earlier, so he's had a good welcome to the Mene.
Decent player, isn't he? He's got the attributes. As I said, it was one of the matchups where, unfortunately, I was looking forward to seeing him going up against Robin Medlake, but them being on opposite wings means that they're going to have to come off their wing for us to see that collision, and what a collision that would be. So Vunipola on the halfway line, opts for safety as he pumps it onto the Mene Stadium roof. So first opportunity where Pirates will have to defend a bit of running rugby, I think, here. Saracens probably won't look to kick just outside the 22, but there's not really an option to drive them over the line from here. Again, Pirates competing in the lineup very well though. Cutmore very light on his feet today. Saracens do ultimately reclaim it, but ball's out. He's kicked it back in. They're asking the question, but the ref didn't see it. So Pirates decide to counter ruck it instead, but again, ball comes back. And Saracens do opt for the box kick. Malik is underneath. It's outside the 22, but it's well claimed as he's driven to the floor. And it's a penalty to the Pirates.
Malik be delighted with that. I think that's 2 high balls that he's really taken with command after the early spill, and that will give his confidence a great boost for the rest of the game.
Obviously, he's the backs coach of the Pirates Amateurs team, and he teaches us how to catch high balls. So he can't come out here and drop them left, right and centre and expect to teach us how to do it. So really leading by example as a player and a coach. Massive kick from Scully off the penalty. Drives it nicely into the Saracens half, just off the 10-metre line. Pirates up for a full line out. Robin Wedlake working in field, trying to get himself involved in a bit of the action. He's one of those players, he's a winger, but as I said, he's a big unit, and if you're looking to get over the gain line, he's someone that you can use to crash into the midfield if needed. Pirates off for the down and give, but it's well read by Saracens, who pull the arms away from John Stevens. So Pirates go from attack to defence. Saracens get themselves ready to attack as Ray moves to the breakdown to play 9. Decides, nope, scrum half's there, I'm going to leave him box kick it. Again, another very, very big high kick. Scully gets off the ground, but times his jump wrong. Doesn't really get near the ball, and Saracens reclaim it. I mean, this is really textbook Saracens that we're seeing now. Lovely tip on, but the offload doesn't go to hand, so they've lost a bit of yards. Oh, that's a huge collision. Marlon Walker. Interesting. Ref's happy with it. There was arms. In my opinion, he attempted to wrap the arms. There's more of a bounce off than a lack of wrap, but it was a big collision, Murray. And I know you love a big hit.
Huge collision. I think we're lucky we're not in the Premiership right now, and that's not being flashed on every replay for the officials to have another look at. But in real time, it was tough to judge, and penalty of the Pirates at the breakdown.
And that's a good victory for the Pirates. I mean, we're 24 minutes into the game now. The game was sitting at 5-3 to Saracens, but Saracens are showing intent, but Pirates are matching it at the moment. Are they still riding on that emotional? As we take a look at this collision, yeah, I think we could be happy that there is no TMO and slow-mo, but again, physicality from Marlon Walker. He's walked into a couple of those already himself today, so it's nice to see that he's actually got an opportunity to dish them back out. A great kick from Scully. Obviously made his debut last week and impressed with, 3 conversions, 1 penalty and a delightful try in the corner, which managed to retain his spot in the starting lineup for the opener. He's got a bit of length on his kick, isn't he? His penalties, I mean, he might have a bit of a breeze behind him, but he's putting the Pirates in the right positions at the moment, isn't he?
I think he's looked really assured again, the way he's ran the game so far. He's kicked early, he's found the space, kicked in the middle of the pitch, and he's putting the Pirates around the pitch really well.
Pirates up for the maul. Saracens defending it, but there is a little bit of full momentum. Alex Amira sees a bit down the short side. It's 1-on-1. He steps again inside Maitland. Alex Ray defends well down the short side. Pirates hit back into the midfield and create a bit of space for themselves. Again, still opting for the one-out runners at the moment though, which they're defending well, but there's a bit of space down the short side. Caulfield calls for the ball. Lovely step from the big man as he's eventually brought down. Ball goes through a couple of players to Cutmore, who again goes into the heart of the Saracens defence. Dan Frost jumps in the passing channel, desperate to get his hands on the ball. Bit of footwork. A slit down the short side, and there's an offload. Jay Tyak gets dragged just a yard short. There's space in the wide channel now. Maitland versus Caulfield. But it's an error infringement from Saracens and a penalty to the Pirates. JB wants to take it quick, but Dan Frost is like, nah, mate, this is my job. Taps and goes, puts a bit of width on it. And is that Duncan? Over for a try. Very smart play from Dan Frost. What can you say?
I'm really glad that the Pirates have scored from that with a try. I feel it's a bit of an injustice how quickly the referee blew the whistle there. There was a penalty on the Saracens line. That should be the perfect chance for an advantage where the Pirates are able to chance their arm and attack. So I feel that's a form of justice there. Great work from Dan Frost to almost a dummy bluff in terms of picking and going, and a great pass right in front of the Saracens line, and Duncan's picked the hole. And there's 2 or 3 visits to the Saracens 22 now, and Pirates can come away with potentially 10 points.
It's interesting. I mean, it's about following trends, rugby is, but then the teams that evolve quickest get more success. We see in recent weeks the tap and go from the 5 metre line, and that's still got success. Luke Candicky trailblazing for Exeter. Saracens obviously demonstrating it down here as well. But then you've seen it in a couple of weeks like Sale and stuff. They've been tapping and going and just tipping it to the inside shoulder. And again, Pirates have evolved one step further ahead of the Premiership teams in this particular instance with Dan Frost, a skill set of a back, tapping and going and floating a three-man miss pass to a bigger man on a smaller man. It's basic physics, isn't it?
It's great to see, and I think, like you say, the more trends and fads as such that we see, the more the defences will focus on that as well. So I'm sure every single Saracens defender around the ball there was only focused on Dan Frost and the ball. And by the time you look up and you see the ball go in front of you, it's too late. There's a hole, and Tom Duncan's gone over.
So Scully unfortunately misses the kick for the Pirates, but that takes the score to Cornish Pirates 8, Saracens 5. 28 minutes on the there or thereabouts on the clock. Saracens kick long. This time it is claimed by Tom Duncan, the captain and try scorer and number 8 extraordinaire. Pirates look to build a phase, get themselves into kicking position. Lamalu fighting for every last yard, backed up by his supporting team. As Bruzilier looks to drag the ball back. Ref asking him to use it. Obviously on the clock these days. Ref starting to ref it a bit more. Box kick goes long. Alex O'Meara is after it. The Saracens have time to collect it. Space down the short side, but Alex O'Meara drags Saracens to deck. Davis at the back, slowing things down. Koch on the pick down the short side. But strong defence around the fringes from the Pirates. As Saracens look to build. And again, looking to opt for the box kick. Certainly playing the percentages in this half. Playing rugby in the right parts. Yeah,
they're box kicking very early. They're wasting no phases to try and turn the Pirates. But a huge amount of pressure on the chase, and a good catch from O'Meara there. And I'm sure Pirates will do the same straight back. Absolutely. Pirates were really falling into the defensive duties of a winger. Another fantastic take from O'Meara. But Pirates don't opt for the box kick. They give it to the gas down the wing. But Marlon Walker is brought down short. The ball has gone forward, unfortunately. Much to Maitland's pleasure. Had a quick word with the ref there, and she confirmed that yes, it was forward. But a bit of a venture there from the Pirates, but unfortunately you see Saracens in an attacking position just outside the 22. See Alan Paver prowling around in front of us. I think we're seeing two very similar, obviously we talked about before the game how both teams model themselves on a very similar game plan, and we really are seeing both teams doing very similar things. But that's twice now the Pirates have set up for the box kick and taken the space on the short side, but Saracens haven't chosen to do. So it's really interesting to see if Pirates will keep trying that, and if one comes off, how far up the field, and can they get a try scoring opportunity from it, or do they play themselves into a little bit of trouble like they've done this time? I mean, I think, again, it goes back to playing to space, doesn't it? If you set up for a box kick and they throw the players back to receive the box kick, then you sometimes have to take that space. So next time, do they mark that channel, which leaves them a little bit more vulnerable at the back? So Pirates set defensively, flat four in the midfield, two floating wingers. Well, I say wingers, full back on one side, Alex O'Meara on the other. Vunipola and Cecchini at first receiver. Scrum's gone all right around, but I think, yeah, he definitely slipped his boy in that time, Murray. Pave's not happy. Prowling in front of us. He really is a scrum extraordinaire, and I think he feels the ref got that one wrong. Jay Tyatt being told to keep doing what he's doing. But hopefully the ref doesn't penalise him next time. So an opportunity for Vunipola to draw that ball deep into the corner. It's a very good kick. Touch judge decides it's about 10 metres off the try line. I think he was a bit harsh there. I think he'd have been a bit more generous in my opinion. He's got a better angle than me, obviously. Pirates disrupted the line-out very well so far in this game. Be interesting to see if they're able to do that. 7-8 metres out from the Pirates line. Will they risk throwing someone up to compete and leave themselves vulnerable at the maul? Or will they stay down and really focus on hitting that maul and avoiding the early push from Saracens? They've definitely been putting pressure. It's obviously something they've worked on, but this time they opt to stay on ground. Saracens go for the maul. Getting sideways, but a little bit of forward momentum. Ball has gone to that though, and the Pirates run straight over the top. The ref is saying it is playable. Alex Davies digs it out. Vunipola pulling the strings. Ray standing at first receiver. Barrington latching onto him as they crash over the Pirates' defensive line. It's quick ball as they wrap round the corner, but there's a bit of disruption there from Tom Duncan, which slows it down. Ball doesn't go to hand. Cecchini has to clear things up, but uses his leg drive to get a bit of go forward. Pirates defence holding strong at the moment, but Saracens backline putting a lot of work rate in to try and get some space. It's a strong carry. Davies at the back, marshalling his troops.
passed out, but didn't really think that Sean Rafael was ready for that pass, but they do adapt and they get to that wide channel. And it is a try in the corner for Alex Lewington. Easy run in the end. Pirates' defence was holding up strong, but Saracens really showing their mettle, their patience and composure to finish in the corner.
Yeah, I think the ball was dislodged in the tackle there, which maybe lured Pirates into a full sense of security, that they could get up a little bit harder from the spilled ball, and it was a good pick up from the 9, and he thrown a good pass to the edge, and Lewington runs in unopposed.
Has been a very to and fro battle at the moment. Both teams taking their chances when they've been in that kind of green zone. Pirates coming away with a penalty and a try. Saracens coming away with 2 tries after some continued pressure. But it just came down to a basic 2-on-1 in the end there, didn't it? As you said, defence was unorganised, but it was just putting Lewington away in the corner, unopposed, to dot down. Tough kick though.
I think we're seeing so much the importance of the game played in the middle of 40 of the pitch. One scrum penalty there, and the chance for pressure, and it's relentless then, and it really is what happens 15-20 metres either side of the halfway line that dictates these matches.
So the kick is no good from Vunipola. Talking to McCall at the beginning of the game, and he was saying that they regard Pirates as one of the best teams in this league, which is a compliment. But we're really seeing that this game is going to balance on a bad decision or a mistake. You say the tries that have come from Saracens have been because of a drop ball or a spill in a tackle, but the try from the Pirates again has just come from a mistake from the breakdown at Saracens, where they've both been able to apply pressure and come away with points. As we're in the dying embers of this first half, maybe 6 or 7 minutes left. Luke Scully with the restart, kits it long. Swinson doesn't quite manage to reclaim that ball, and again we talk about mistakes. So Pirates with an opportunity to see this second half out and hopefully come away with some points. Saracens, obviously, the defence won't be giving it away for free. So we'll go to the scrum. Not been many clean scrums so far. Penalty to the Pirates, a free kick to Saracens, second scrum, and I think the third one was a penalty to Saracens that Coach Alan Paver strongly disagreed with.
Yeah, I think teams spend a huge amount of, or backline spend a huge amount of time in the week in their unit session focusing on scrum attack, and it's interesting if you count up the amount of opportunities to attack off a scrum in a game with actual clean ball, how much reward you're getting for that work in the week. We might see 10, 12 scrums in a game, and you might only get the chance to attack off 2. I'm sure Pirates will be looking to do that off this scrum, but again, it depends so much on the stability of the scrum and the cleanness of the ball for the 9 to set the backs away, because if you don't have that, you're putting yourself under more pressure by trying to attack.
It's interesting, back in the day you used to call it a set piece move, and every back would split from the forwards during a session. The forwards would go on banging their heads against the wall, and the backs would practice their finesse on the set piece. But it's called a launch these days, isn't it? So you're launching yourself into a position to attack.
Yeah, I think maybe the way rugby was played even five years ago, possibly more, a set-piece move was an opportunity to score, or a chance to make a clean line break and score, whereas now it is very much that. It is a launch. It's a launch for your team to get into 3 phases, 5 phases, and everyone knows what they're doing for that amount of time, and it really is to launch into that attack. So a half a shoulder or a half a gap is seen as a successful launch, whereas we probably watch on TV and we think a successful launch or a successful set piece has to be a try, but that's not what teams are actually looking for.
John Stevens receiving a bit of treatment, his face looking even worse than normal. Bit of claret coming out there, but he's a tough old boy and he's going to crack on.
I know his girlfriend Iona will be watching at home, so she'll be concerned with what he's going to look like when he gets home later. So
Pirates put in. Alex Amira floating behind the scrum, leaning towards the short side, keeping Sean Maitland honest. But again, we'll go for a reset. I think the Marlon Walker and Vincent Cock bind wasn't quite as it should be. Pitch holding up well. been a couple of scrums here or there, but again, Pirates have invested a bit of money in this pitch so that they can play the game plan they want. In this particular instance, again, it suits Saracens. Obviously, they've got their 3 or 4G pitch up at North London, so both teams will be happy with the surface we're on today. So ball gets to the back of this scrum, but there's a lot of movement, so Tom Duncan keeps it steady as Bouzelier puts it to Shay Tucker's hands. Bit of footwork and then puts his head down. Pirates jack back to the short side. Scully gets the ball, puts it, punts a pump in and just gets dragged down. But it's a penalty for crossing, unfortunately. Alex Amira not happy there, but I feel Luke Scully made the right decision. You don't want to be put, like you say, you put the ball into space and there was numbers there. Kind of went through the motions of a move there, and I don't think it was the right option. Well read by Saracens.
Yeah, it's something the Pirates worked on in the week. I spoke to Gavin yesterday and he said look out for the scrum attack where we flash straight back after we've hit the 10, and they went for it there, but you are going into an area with a lot of traffic in terms of the Saracens forwards getting up from the scrum, but also you're going to find traffic with your own players getting up from the scrum there as well, so ran the risk of the crossing, and Sarah Cox picked up on it.
Sarah Cox having a good game, ref, so far. I don't think either teams can complain. Vunipola with the exit, sees the ball on the 10-metre line inside the Saracens half. Again, more pressure from the Pirates though. Dan Frost, quickest to react as he bounces off one defender, steps in another, and is still going, eventually brought down. Lamalu manages to hold the ball up, spins out of a tackle. Bouzelier puts the ball in Scully's hand, ball goes out the back. Shay Tucker tips it on. Prater doesn't quite get it in front of him though, so makes the best of a bad situation as Pirates look to rebuild, really trying to play some rugby as this game comes to a first half comes to a close. Lamalu well tackled there though by Saracens' second row Callum Hunter-Hill. Bit of space in the wide channel. Robin Wedlake gets his hands on the ball for the first time as he shrugs off Lewington, but is eventually brought to ground. Ball isn't quite to hand, but it is well picked up there by John Stevens, claret and all. Scully really starting to play with some tempo here as Pirates start to get into the swing of things, but as it stands, Saracens' defence up to task. Scully takes the ball to the line. Vincent Cott hunts him down though and drags him to deck. Tom Duncan with a spin and the pop, but it doesn't go to hand and Saracens get the turnover. It's loose at the back though, it's not clean, as Saracens do look to gather, but Pirates putting pressure on the breakdown. Saracens looking to build the possession and get in position for a box kick in the same time. Malik Holden gets himself back in position for a receipt with Alex Amira to help him out as we see the familiar caterpillar being built. Poor Alex, his legs aren't long enough to get the ball. Eventually it is dragged back. Another good kick. Chase is a bit slower this time though, so Malik gets a bit of time to catch the ball, steps inside, but the Saracens defence engulf him. Bouzelier goes down the short side with Robin Wedlake as Lamalu steps into first receiver back on the open. Clock creeping into the red here, so we'll be close to the last play. Obviously be aware that the clock we've got on the screen, I'm not entirely sure is linked up to the refs. That's Premiership technology, but it's there or thereabouts. As JV looks to box kick. Goes for length, so it's inside. Saracens have time to collect it, and mark is called. Interesting option, possibly not the execution he was looking for there.
I thought it was a really good option. It's just probably 10 metres too far, as we saw from both box kicks there, and makes that catch a lot easier without the pressure of the chase. It's really interesting to see the amount of noise coming from the Saracens bench in the last 10 minutes. They really know they're in a contest here, and there's a huge amount of volume being made every tackle, every breakdown from their replacements.
What a kick from Holden there! Absolutely skies that ball. Looked like a dying duck, and it wasn't reclaimed and it was left to bounce. Saracens ultimately do clean up in the end. I mean, the ball's been in play now for 5 or 6 minutes, you know, with a couple of free kicks and penalties here and there. But either a gap is going to appear, or this first half is going to peter out to a conclusion. Again, Saracens building the phases so they can get more bodies in their feet and get ready for a chase. But Pirates infringe at the breakdown and don't release the tackler as they try and put pressure on that. So Vunipola gets the ball in his hands. Don't think he's going to go for points from here, so possibly looking to eke their way into the Pirates half and try and get some points on the board before the first half concludes.
a real shame from the Pirates there. They're really putting some pressure on the Saracens in their 22, and I think Pirates went for an offload, which maybe they would have been better off just applying some pressure, and pressure will bring penalties, and yeah, if Pirates could have got themselves a penalty there and taken the lead going into half time, it would have been just rewards for a fantastic half.
It's interesting though, as we said though earlier in the game, it is coming down to mistakes, errors that the other teams are capitalising on. So Saracens just having a chance to regroup as John Stevens still looks to get further treatment. It is a grim looking face at the moment, isn't it? Bless him.
Nothing some cotton wool, Vaseline and a bit of rinse won't sort.
Here's the Vaz, straight up the nose, perfect. Sometimes I think physios forget how essential the nose is for breathing when you're tired. Interesting though, obviously we are going to clearly be in the red and we are looking at the last play here, but we are effectively on the halfway line. Pirates have put a lot of pressure successfully on the Saracens attacking line out, so this won't be a given for Saracens. But we are, as I said, looking at the last play when John Stevens eventually sorts his face out. John Stevens has put the same face that my kid pulls on trying to wipe the Weetabix off his mouth after his breakfast. So eventually, physios make their way off the pitch. Sarah Cox comes back over to the line out, and we're ready to start. She ushers the Pirates back a little bit to maintain that metre gap. Alex Ray standing out in the wide channel. Jackson Ray even, sorry, not Alex Ray. Jackson Ray in the wide channel, but again, Pirates disrupt that line out and they retain possession off the back of it. Again, a little bit of space down the middle. JB gets it off to Marlon Walker. This time he's met hard by Swinton. So again, Pirates up for the box kick on the halfway line. The Saracens look to put pressure on the box, but this is a good kick this time. Alex Amir is underneath of it. Ball hits the deck though, it's not cleared up. Alec Davis decides to put boot to ball, sees a bit of space at the back, but it sits up nicely for Bruselier, feeds it inside to Holden, but he's a bit isolated, so he tries to drill it long, but Hunter Hill clears it up and offloads it. Ball kept in hand. Barrington with a pump and carry. Davis sees Vunipola in the back pocket, he puts a little bit of a top spin on, sees into the corner, and that should be it for the first half. We have had a lot of injuries though, so even though the clock says 46, we could still be playing. Got caught off guard last week with the timing as well, didn't I? Thrown off. So, a real opportunity here for Saracens, who have eked their way back into the Pirates 22. It'd be a real shame for the Pirates if they concede last minute here. Obviously, scoreline, Cornish Pirates 8, Saracens 10 as it stands, which I think is a fair reflection on how this first half has gone. But ultimately, Saracens with the last attempt here to add to that lead. Pirates throw it in. Lamadu claims uncontested. Dan Frost really been on the money with his arrows so far. Ball goes to deck and Pirates set for a kick. Looks to his forward pack. He's not happy with where they are. I think he's clearly asked how long is on the clock, looking to kind of eke a couple last seconds out. And that must be it for the first half. He's obviously spoken to the refs. A good game management there from the Pirates. Realised where they were, what the score was, and did the right thing. Yeah, really good game management from JB there, using all his experience and talking to the referee in constant dialogue to understand how long was left of the half, and rather than give Saracens one last attacking line out or give them one last chance at attacking at broken play, the one extra phase and it's got the ball out, and Saracens 10, Pirates 8. After a brilliant first half for the Pirates, and
Saracens will be looking in the second half. I wonder what they'll do, Rodri. Do you think they will keep with this squeeze and kick game, or do you think they will take some of those opportunities on the edge?
I think it'll be interesting. The difference sometimes between a good team and a really good team isn't necessarily they do things better, it's they do good things for longer. So as the Pirates get tired, can they keep up what they've been doing in this first half for the same amount of time as Saracens can? We talk about Saracens, we talk about the experience they've got in their ranks. We've got some, Premiership and European Cup winners in there, internationals littered throughout. So it's whether Pirates have got the ability to maintain what they're doing, possibly more than our Saracens going to look to change what they're doing. As we come into the start of this second half, there are subs out there warming up though, so I reckon we will be seeing some changes as Saracens make the field from the Newlyn end. We'll try and keep you up to date with changes, but this isn't BT Sport, and we don't have the graphics to help us with that. So we will keep on top of it as much as possible. But please, show us some leniency. So Saracens again will be attacking Newlyn end this time round towards the scoreboard and the new HD flash LED scoreboard. As Pirates make the field, they'll be attacking the Penzance end. So Sandstorm playing in the background, much to the delight of a lot of the Cornish Pirates fans. A very, very interesting topic on the forum this week that they wanted to hear Sandstorm back, and your wish has been granted. It's always nice to hear that. It's been playing for years and years. Phil Western's favourite song.
Part of the furniture at the Mene, isn't it? It's a given that they run out to Sandstorm, and I'm sure the viewers at home after last week will be glad to be able to hear that again.
Rumours are Sandstorm is played before Sunday dinner around the Western House. So Vunipola with the kick-off. The refs had a word with the both sets of players about their language on the pitch. So the second half is off. Vunipola, lovely little drop kick, goes deep, but cleared out well by Cudmore. Pirates retain possession. So ball goes high. It's a strong chase from the Pirates, but it's well claimed. Pirates drive back though, Scully with the chase. Opportunity for counter-ruck, but Saracens marshal it well. Saracens up down the short side. And the ref concludes that there was infringement there. So first throw to the Pirates there. Scully with the opportunity to drive it deep into the half of Saracens. He's not happy with the kick though. It does make touch. Probably not the distance he was hoping to get from it though.
Just take on the end there. On the end, perfect.
So Pirates go for a short and line out, playing with tempo. John Stevens at the back, gets it. Carries strong into Vunipola, but is well met. Lamalu come from a standing start, but still just ekes over that gain line as the Pirates forwards flood around the corner, but it's jacked back and it goes out the back. Scully puts hands, it's very good hands there from Alex Amira, but John Stevens runs out of space and cuts back in field. Pirates really starting this half with intensity. Oh, Dan Frost goes for the big carry, but gets a big no on that one. But Shay Tucker sees an opportunity, gets his hands free, but decides to keep it safe. Alex Amira on the hard line. A winger wants no interest in that when there's a line of forwards in front of you, so JB opts for the big man. Dan Frost puts boot to ball though, sees a bit of space in behind, but Aled Davis clears up nicely, but the Pirates defence mop him up and drive him into touch. So it's all Pirates this first half so far. They've decided, obviously one of the talks at half time was about intensity and accuracy, and it's really shown.
Yeah, Pirates started with a huge amount of intensity there, and again, it looked like they reset that emotional energy, and they're really ready to go again.
Yeah, look just on him for a second.
This second half, Pirates really have to make sure when they run off 9, they use footwork. There's someone with them at the line for that jab or those multiple options, because we've seen a couple of times when they have run one-out runners, they're being matched with huge amounts of physicality.
I mean, and that is something we talk about Saracens, we talk about what they offer. Physicality isn't something we've mentioned because
There's your mark.
it's a given, isn't it? Ultimately, Premiership standard players, they've been training in elite facilities for a long time, and they're not lacking that strength, are they? So Dan Frost hits double tops, Cutmore goes up, Frost round the corner, pops off to Shea. Shea Tucker's had a good start. He's had a really good first half, and he's carrying on. He's really getting involved in this game from the 12 position.
Yeah, we did talk about before the game, obviously no Di Battista and Patterson, but in Tucker and Parata, the two midfield replacements that have come in for them today, they've more than held their own, and Shea Tucker's actually starting to make a real impact on the game.
I mean, we talk about the replacements, as again, it's the same situation, isn't it? You're not necessarily putting someone in who's not as good, you're putting in someone that offers something different. And the Pirates squad that's been built over a number of years really is demonstrating their ability to do so. Pirates starting to try and apply pressure. The ball is slow, but they are 5 to 10 metres off the Saracens try line. Again, and these are the moments that they have to take advantage of. They have to come away with some points if they're going to want to get a hand on this match. And being so early in the first half, it's a great first opportunity to do so. Bit of space on the short side though, so Robin Parata even gets mopped up well by Jackson Ray, driven back, but Pirates do retain possession. They look to rebuild. The problem comes with this added intensity. You put more pressure on your fitness, don't you? The first half has played out at a precision pace, but Lamalu gets in there. There's space in the wide channel. Shea Tucker holds on to it, beats the first defender. Doesn't quite have the opportunity to reach the line as they fly around the corner. Alex Amira shrugs off, but he's just short. Pirates really hammering that try line, playing with intensity now, not just banging up one runners, and that's obviously something they've talked about the first time. Sniff a little bit of an opportunity down the short side. Ball is available though. Scully, Marshall in the back line. There's every single Pirates player in the 15-metre line here though, so there's only really one option for them to do, and that's to pepper that try line as the back Alex Amira starts to work her way out. Malik Holden also following in suit. But again, Pirates throwing all their hands on the deck for this driving over and putting pressure on the try line.
Yeah, it's great to see Amira's now got out to that edge. I just wonder if there is any advantage, and then we look at the crossfield.
The players are screaming, and there it is, a try for the Pirates. So ultimately, they've really started this first half with a means, and they've come away with a point. So, yeah, interesting start. It's not what I expected from the kickoff, following obviously our chat at half time. But the Pirates will be very happy with that, and there's some good interplay there. It wasn't just coming around the corner and one-out runners. There was offloads. Lamalu getting into the field, Caulfield playing at first receiver, putting the ball at the back. JB Brugelier playing with a bit of tempo, and when it came down to it, Saracens had it. They had it covered. But when it came down to a power game, the Pirates just managed to creep over.
Yeah, you talked about the numbers on the backs, the people playing the rugby there, your Josh Caulfield, your Fatiga Lamalus, Tom Duncan, playing with a licence and using the ball, and that is what's given Pirates that try.
Apologies, I am unsure if who scored it. There's every chance it was a forward. Tough kick here for Scully. It's 50-50 off the tee at the moment. It's a good strike though, sounded good. Dissects the post precisely, adds the 2 points. So Cornish Pirates a very strong start, which takes the score to Cornish Pirates 15, Saracens 10. Saracens won't be happy with that though. Don't expect them to roll over. They'll be coming back full beans now, and Pirates will really have their mettle tested. Obviously, not what the Pirates wanted, but Saracens retain possession. Cutmore doesn't quite manage to wrap his hands around that restart, and an opportunity again now for Saracens to apply some pressure in the half.
No, knock on advantage.
Looking to play with a bit of adventure themselves now as the Saracens players run around the corner. Vunipola picking his players.
Don't. Yeah, good man.
So Jackson Ray again following in the footsteps of his counterpart, puts boot to ball. Lewington sees a bit of space though, breaks the first tackle, is eventually brought down by Shea Tucker, but there is space in that touchline. But the ball doesn't go to hands, it has gone backwards, but
no, you're offside.
Unfortunately, Josh Caulfield was offside in retreating, a bit slow. Harsh call because he didn't necessarily interfere with play, but the ref obviously has adjudicated that he took the vision away from Saracens, and they ultimately dropped the ball.
Yeah, I think that's a great call from the referee. Ultimately, they said that Josh Caulfield didn't touch the ball, but he was in the running line. He did impact that player's eye line, and that player catching the ball, which resulted in
He's offside still.
the knock-on.
I say we've got the opportunity of a ref, Mike, and ultimately, yes, she's saying you didn't affect back, but you were offside. It's black and white, isn't it? And that's a non-negotiable, really, in rugby. A lot of Premiership teams and international teams, in my opinion, get away with being offside a lot, and they just call it line speed. But in this instance, but the ref's blown for a penalty. Saracens haven't realised.
You asked me for it, Jackson. That's yours.
So I'm just waiting to see who the penalty's for, because she had one arm up and she's turned around.
They didn't let the lifter return down to the ground there, and that's the real coach killer for the Pirates there. To back up penalty after penalty is something that the Pirates have to be really careful of now.
Was it a penalty though? Because they just walked to the line out without kicking it.
You're still offside. You've just got to keep. You've interrupted.
I'm a bit confused as to what happened
That's
there.
gone.
I'm not sure if that's a new rule. You don't have to kick and touch anymore, and you just get the line out. But we're just going to go with the ref. So penalty Saracens. They got the line out. Pirates compete. Don't quite get the hand to it. Leave themselves vulnerable for the drive. As Saracens, the juggernaut, that is Saracens, come around the corner. Pirates come back with a counter shove though. It's all getting a bit mussy. It's brought to deck by Saracens. Vincent Cock picks and goes around the corner. There's a huge amount of players in there. Pirates are going to have to roll away.
Hands up!
Ref saying to keep the hands off, but the ref not happy. Advantage played, and Saracens take the point. So, 2 tries in the first 10 minutes. A real sign of intent from the Pirates, but Saracens have basically just put the hand up and said, nah, we're still here, and we're not going away anytime soon.
It'll be hugely disappointing for the Pirates that it happens so often in rugby. You score a try and it sounds cliche. What's your next job? It's to catch the kick-off, exit well, and put pressure back on Saracens in their territory. Pirates didn't catch the kick-off, and the resulting pressure from that penalty, line-out penalty, has resulted in a try without Saracens having to do too much.
I'm going to have a guess that was Tim Swinson for the try for the Saracens in this particular instance. Again, it's a maul of players. But again, it's a good half start though for both teams at the score at the moment. The kick to come, it's 15-all. Again, very much reflects the game. Both teams have had their opportunities. Both teams have had their opportunities created by mistakes from other teams, but they've all taken them. And ultimately, every time a team has made their way into the half, they've come away with some points. So Vunipola with the kick. Nice, straight, perfect, down the middle, as to expect. Very kickable, which sees the score go Cornish Pirates 15, Saracens 17.
Time off.
So,
Yeah, time off.
time off.
Oh, wait, we need to get your 7 sorted again.
Ref Sarah Cox not happy with John Stevens' face. It's
No, just do that. Just do that.
blood's getting everywhere at the moment. Obviously, it's a health and safety thing, and it's a hygiene thing. So she can't let him continue if it's profusely bleeding. So we might see a return to play for Kiri Kiri. But again, it's not a backward step. Kiri Kiri is a fantastic player, and it would be an interesting battle between Sean Raphael and Kiri Kiri to the breakdown. You know, whether it be an attack or defence.
Hey, look, he's already said to me that he's got a problem with his haemoglobin, so I can't argue that. I'm getting that blood.
John Stevens very much a dog when it comes to the breakdown. You know, he's battling, he's fighting every little fight. It's not the size of the dog in the fight, it's the size of the fight in the dog, I think the saying is. And that's definitely something that he brings to the party. Kiri Kiri, very good around the breakdown, but he's very athletically gifted, very good in the air, very good skill set as well. So again, he'll bring a different dimension to the Pirates if he has to come on. No changes either side, I don't think, as of yet, though, for both teams.
Yeah,
so we'll continue with the starting 30 that started the game.
You're 7, he's just having his nose plugged.
It'll be interesting to see how long both teams go with the same 30 on the pitch, and
I don't know.
when they make those substitutes and
you ready?
what effect on the game they want those substitutes to have.
So Scully with the restart. Alex Amira chasing after it like a Kerno rail locomotive. But the ball goes short, and that's an absolutely outstanding catch there. Didn't quite catch who it was, but that was a talented piece of skill. As the Pirates look to put it, Alex Amira shifts into the wide channel. Tom Duncan takes the space in front of him as he gets driven towards the touchline, but stays in field. Lewington manages to drag it down. Caulfield, lovely set of hands, puts the ball to Scully. Lamanu sees a hole in the midfield, and again, Pirates really putting pressure on it, but Jackson Ray gets his hands on the floor and manages to take possession, but unfortunately in doing so knocks it on. So the Pirates will get an attacking scrum midfield. Very good opportunity here for the Pirates.
He's on his feet, isn't he?
Yeah, one of the most vulnerable positions to defend on the rugby field, a midfield scrum. Be really interesting. Will they have one in the backfield, two in the backfield, 3-2 split? And obviously the Pirates will probably depend where they go, depending on how Saracens set up. But great attacking play from the Pirates there to get to that position. Forwards and backs from the edges, and Fatinga Lamalu running a great line. And nearly getting all the way through there.
Noticeable increase in the intensity from the Pirates, but obviously with that comes you have to clear those breakdowns. When you're playing one-up runners, yes, you're limited in your attack, but you've got the players around you to regain possession. In this instance, Jackson Ray saw a sniff at it and he almost got that ball back, so it's one thing the Pirates need to be aware of, but also an opportunity for Saracens. So good scrum there from the Pirates though. Tom Duncan controls the ball at the back, starts to crab, and the penalty advantage goes to the Pirates. We talked about this last week. I mean, they've won the penalty, they've earned it. I feel they should have the right to get that ball out.
Yeah, again, we talked about it last week, didn't we? You see in the Southern Hemisphere, every single scrum when the ball is at the back of the scrum, penalty advantage, play away. You know, it's a massive opportunity to get wingers in the game, get fullbacks in the game, and a risk-free opportunity. So hot on the whistle there, and Pirates' chance to go back into the lead.
Yeah, so a successful penalty here would give Pirates an extra point in the lead, but it's not a given. It's, you know, we're looking at 35-40 metre kick here. Scully already demonstrating though, obviously on loan from Cardiff Blues, that he's a very adept kicker, like every good Welsh 10.
So it's taken 50 minutes for Rodri to get a Welsh positive into the commentary.
I mean, I was going to bring up the England-Wales game, but I just thought it might be a bit too sore for some of our viewers. Strikes it well, sounded good. Touch judges are happy. Pirates take the lead. Cornish Pirates 15, Saracens, oh no, not Cornish Pirates 18, Saracens 17. So both teams again, 2 visits for the Pirates into the 22 of Saracens, 2 point scoring opportunities taken. Saracens 1 opportunity and points taken. So again, this as it is, the game is going to the wire. But again, Saracens putting real pressure on the regain of the restart, but a penalty towards the Pirates this time round for tackling in the air. Alex Amira gets off the ground well, and unfortunately the Saracens chasers infringed Sean Maitland in that instance, I believe.
Double off. Yeah, of course it is, yeah.
Again, it has such a huge bearing on the game, doesn't it? It gives the team territory in the first opportunity to attack. You see the Saracens didn't deal with the kickoff that Pirates exerted pressure from after half-time, and Pirates didn't deal with the kickoff straight after they scored, which allowed Saracens to get into the game and score a try. So for Pirates to almost get a free out here, where they're going to be able to get 40 metres from the Saracens line and a chance to attack, is probably going to eat up another 4 or 5 minutes of the game and give them the chance to sustain pressure on Saracens.
So looks like we've got a substitution here. I think that's Tom Duncan coming off, and is that Kiri coming on?
You said you need him.
Alex Amira down at the moment. Looks like the physio's helping him do his shoelaces up. Hopefully everything's okay. Took a bit of an impact in the air there, didn't he? Obviously got off the ground well, but obviously that's what the resulting penalty is for. But it's the Pirates' first opportunity to exit their 22 from a restart without the initial pressure of Saracens. But it is a tight angle, so we're not expecting a massive kick here from Scully.
Interesting to say that, James, there. Antonio Kiri on for Tom Duncan. 2 very contrasting playing styles, and it will be interesting to see if that is a straight swap with Kiri going to 8.
At the moment, we just can't get...
Who will add certainly some dynamism off the back of the scrum.
I watched I follow Russell Earnshaw on Twitter, and he's very good breakdown. They've got the Magic Academy and all that, and it's really good to watch. The one thing I saw a highlight of the other day was it was a team in France, and they put their 13 at the base of the scrum, and he literally took off. And he says it's about putting players in a position where they can do what they're good at, not necessarily putting the person in position because that's where they're supposed to be on the pitch. And that could be an interesting change for the Pirates, looking to change the dynamic of the game and taking Tom Duncan, that is a set-piece beast, big ball carrier, and bringing on someone a little bit more dynamic into the fray.
It does help if you've got Joshua Tuasova in your side.
Yeah, it's nice, you know. It's a messy line out there for the Pirates, and the ball doesn't quite get cleaned up very well. Unfortunately, Kiri isn't able to get his hands on the ball of the resulting fumble, and the Saracens do get an attacking scrum centre of the pitch on the halfway line. Obviously, we discussed this before. This is a very good opportunity to attack, especially when you've got the back three with the experience that Saracens have got. So, big challenge here for the Pirates. Try and mark the space in and up in front of this defensive line.
Don't do it over the top of people.
Interesting to hear the close exchanges on the ref mic there, and both teams getting into each other here with the game so finely poised. It's a cracking contest, this game, and I hope everyone at home is seeing how much of a contest it is. Anyone going into this game with sort of preconceived expectations, it's a cracking game and a cracking competitive contest.
So free kick to Saracens.
You stepped off.
Basically, Saracens went for the big hit there, and Pirates tried to play the ref. They stepped back on the engage, ultimately causing a bit of a collapse. So Saracens win the free kick. They've opted for another scrum. It's interesting. You can see that Pirates are trying to close the gap a little bit in the scrum, which means that they don't quite, the Saracens, when they come in for that kind of pre-engage, they don't have a much launched for that initial hit. See, this is what Google told me. But it's always interesting to hear, like you say, the conversations that the front row have to a ref, though, because they're just trying to highlight what they're trying to stop the opposition doing to them.
Set.
So we get a clean engage this time round. Bit of an angle from the far side prop. It's a bit messy. Ball comes out. Pirates have possession though, so it is a turnover. So it's a very good scrum for the Pirates. A lot of space in the backfield if they're to outclass. Ref saying he's got to use it. John Stevens digs it and goes for the absolute wildies pump and go. Gets wrapped up though. JB Bruce slots into normal position. Saracens making a mess of the breakdown, but are told to leave it now by ref Sarah Cox. She's had enough. The ball's ready to be played away. Caulfield goes for the carry. Saracens calling Mayday, which I can only imagine is where they leave the breakdown completely, keep numbers on their feet. As Pirates set up for a clearance. JB with a kick, it's contestable, it's probably not gone as long as he wants, but it's in the air. Pirates underneath, John Stevens gets a tap back. Dan Frost in the air, he's tackled. There's cheers for a tackle in the air, but there was nothing dangerous there, there was nothing intentional, so we'll play on. Josh Caulfield gets a little bit of wind behind him, a bit of speed. Eventually brought down. The Marlu in the first receiver. Looks at the punch, but again he's well met by Barrington and Cock this time round. Driven to the floor. Pirates intensity slowed down a bit, so they'll probably look to exit in a second. As Dan Frost joins to create a great back foot. Bit of a flinch. No, this is a good box kick. It's outside the 22. Pirates players get under it. It's bounced awkwardly. Sean Maitland eventually clears it up and drills it down the touchline, but JB Brucelier picks it up and throws it in field to Malik Holding. He sees a bit of space in his far corner, puts a lovely little topspin kick in. Robin Wedlake chasing down like a well-groomed horse. Malik chasing his own kick. But Saracens very cool and composed under pressure there. Get the exit, but again, JB Brucelier back there. Puts a bit of footwork on, showing his sevens brilliance. Robin Wedlake, no space to work with. But it's a big collision. He managed to stay in field though. My God, that guy is a specimen.
He's done incredibly well to stay in field there. Rode the hit and managed to get his body in a position to miss the touchline by no more than 10 or 20 centimetres.
Scully, a little bit of a show and go there in the midfield.
Pirates got to be careful not to overplay in these areas of the pitch. Obviously when the ball's fast and you get over the gain line, it makes it a little bit simpler, but you really do leave yourself vulnerable to giving away penalties if you overplay here.
Absolutely, because you're playing a team that you give a penalty away here, they're going to kick the ball deep and then they're going to assert pressure. So Pirates need to, as I say, be careful with the hand they're playing. But there is a change of direction from the Pirates in this first half, but again, we talk about it, they're looking to play rugby in the right parts of the pitch now as they'll look to kick the ball deep, but obviously there's a bit of a breeze because that ball really is holding up, and again another example of it there as the ball actually doesn't go in front of the kicker, but Pirates clear that well, and it's that man John Stevens again.
No, you're absolutely right. Apologies, it has come off red and gone forward.
But unfortunately the ball did come off red and go forward, so we'll get a scrum to Saracens.
I missaw that, sorry.
It's that skill level though, isn't it? Again, they're trying to infect a game plan, but unfortunately in that particular instance and two box kicks before, the kick hasn't been as required, and that's created a turnover and given the possession back to Saracens.
It's been interesting to see as well. The last 5 minutes, I've certainly noticed the referee calling, which I'm a massive fan of, by the way. The refs calling the nines to use it once it's been there for a certain period of time, and it's interesting. The nines, how much of an impact that has on their kick. Are they rushed in going through their process, which leads to the kick not being as accurate as it possibly should be? And again, it's such a big moment in the game. These small things, one bad box kick, upper hand Saracens again.
As the spectator for rugby in a whole, I want to see a ref start calling nines out on this though, because I mean, I don't know the exact laws word for word, but I believe they get 5 seconds from the use it call, which is when the ball comes available. But in the Premiership in particular, which is what I've been watching mostly lately because of no championship, they do ride that 5 seconds. I mean, they're not counting Mississippi's in their head, are they? They're going like a 10-second rule, and I feel if they start calling them out on it a little bit more, it puts pressure on that skill, and they might move away to a slightly more expansive game. But anyway, that's just my opinion.
Okay.
It's the rules say you have 5 seconds. They're always going to use 5 seconds. I've got no problem with that. I think the issue comes when how long the ball takes to become available. If the ball takes 3 or 4 seconds to become available and then 5 seconds to use, you're looking at a 10-second ruck. Whereas if the ball's there and then it's 5 seconds, it's a lot shorter period. So we're not going to change the IRB rules in our conversations.
Oh, I don't know, mate. We might have a couple of viewers today. Another big scrum here. Pirates seem happy with that scrum. Ref not happy with the shenanigans on the far side of the scrum though, so it would just be a reset. Substitution in the front row though, so Alex Clary has come on.
Adam, just what? Yeah. Got you. Okay. Keep a strong body position. You allow the bind, okay? Great picture this side. Far side.
A couple of substitutions that have made their way on the pitch without my aware, but we'll pick them up as we go along. Have you picked any up, Murray?
Yeah, I think Rotimi Shagan has gone onto the wing, and Obafemi Yimbo has come off, and Sean Maitland's moved to fullback. So that'll be interesting to see how it changes the dynamic in that back three.
Shagan, a very dangerous player. Obviously, he's played a lot in this pre-season, but he's got some Premiership experience as well. He knows his way to the try line, doesn't he?
Ball's here. Ball's here. So
it's a messy scrum. Pirates flies out. The ball flies out the back. It's all a bit of to and fro. Vunipola goes to jump on it, but misses it. So refs had enough, and she's decided that Saracens were going forward, and they'll get the put in. A lot of we talked about the set piece before the game. I spoke to both coaches about it. They both saw it as a key battle for deciding this game, and it has gone very much to and fro. Saracens dominating the scrum in the early stages, but Pirates really pressuring the line out. But Saracens really starting to feel the pressure in the scrums now as Pirates look to attack their defensive position.
Yeah, I think both the scrum and the line-out have been... I can't recall one line-out or one scrum that hasn't been a contest. And it does lead to some scrappy ball coming at the side or coming backwards, but then that also does open up the game and shows the appetite that both teams have got to compete. I think the ball on the floor is a classic example. You can really show how much a team wants to be in this game by how they react to that, and both teams are really going hammer and toe at each other in a cracking contest. Always an argument in the downtime to bring it up. What's the very essence of sport and competition? Promotion.
Exactly.
And relegation, of course.
Oh yeah, cool. But we don't do that anymore, do we? No, so we will reset for a scrum. Forwards just getting a sip of water. Obviously, there's a lot of timber being shifted around this pitch today.
Just going back to that point on relegation in our downtime though, Rodri, what an outstanding thing with relegation as well. I know these circumstances are different in how Saracens have come down, but for the teams that do normally come down for the Premiership, it's ultimately because they haven't been able to compete at that level. And coming down gives then... Just imagine what this would be like if there were spectators here. That is all part and package of the relegation process. It's the days out, it is everyone's cup final, and it's a highlight of the league. It's the first fixture that the Championship teams, fans and supporters, players, coaches look for, and I think if it doesn't happen going forward, I think it would be a monumental mistake, and I think it would be just absolutely terrible for the Championship.
You also look at the teams that have come down and you look at how they've reacted to it. you know, you look at your London Irish. God, they got a phenomenal team this year. They've only recently been promoted. Bristol spent years in the Championship, and now they've decided no. It's an opportunity to take a look. Obviously, what they've been doing in the past to find themselves bottom of the Premiership hasn't worked. And if there's no kind of consequences, that will continue. But when you come down to the Championship, yes, it's not a given you're going back up, but you have to work for it. But it's an opportunity to reassess where you're at and what you need to do to find yourself back where you want to be. And that's ultimately an opportunity for other clubs as well that will say, like, we want to be up there. And it shows them different types of teams and what they are doing to push for that position.
I totally agree, and I think it's a point you've made there is something that's been overlooked by the media and everyone that talks about rugby. Is look now at Harlequins, Bristol, London Irish, Newcastle. All those clubs have identity, and that identity has probably come from what they were able to do in a championship season. Whereas, like you said, if the consequence of being at the bottom of the league, if there isn't one, how do those clubs gain an identity? How do they transform themselves to make sure they're not bottom year after year?
I appreciate that professional rugby is a business now as well, and people do worry about the financial implications. But ultimately, by dismissing the financial implications of every team in the Championship to favour the financial implications of a couple of struggling teams in the Premiership, and this is only my opinion, this isn't reflected by the Cornish Pirates or anyone else in the Championship, I just think it's unfair. But ultimately, as I said, these conversations that we have on commentary aren't going to be picked up by Premiership rugby and decisions made off the back of it. But we'll get back our focus on the game as we eventually get to pack down for the scrum again.
Mr. Sweeney is listening, then that's our opinion.
So the battle will continue at the scrum. As we've said, it has been a hard-fought battle so far today, as we kind of crouch up to the 60-minute entering the final quarter. So a static scrum. There's a lot of jeering from the touchline, and the penalty goes to the Pirates. So the Adornance has kind of taken a swing from Saracens towards the Pirates there, and Pirates getting a bit of wind up. You know, I mean, we've got the supporters, we don't have supporters, but we've got the substitutes and the backroom staff all in that kind of stadium in front of us, and they're all on their feet cheering a scrum now. And it's an opportunity for Pirates to get again another visit into the 22. But I know we're going for posts. I think good decision. A bit of a breeze, but he's definitely got the legs, hasn't he?
Yeah, I think that's a great decision. I think if he's successful with this kick, it puts Pirates 4 points ahead, and it takes away that danger of a penalty, being nipped by a penalty or being nipped by a drop goal. And you're saying to Saracens, to win this game, you have to come and score tries.
You worked hard on that one, and he did as well.
It'll be interesting to see the Saracens' reaction to this. Again, we talk about their experience. They found themselves in pressured situations before, but you know, they're in a different environment now. This isn't what they're used to. I mean, they travelled down. I believe they flew down today. You know, they woke up in their own bed, and they'll probably go to bed in their own bed. But it's you know, still travel. It's still going from a car to a plane to a coach, and there's a lot of things to think about. And all of a sudden, they find themselves in 61 minutes gone in a hard-fought battle against a very capable team. Unfortunately, in this instance, Scully doesn't quite have the direction. He certainly had the legs, but the direction was lacking. So the score stays at Cornish Pirates 18, at Saracens 17, with around about 60 minutes on the clock. So 22-metre restart. Vunipola ball in hand. Goes for length. That's a substantial boot, but Scully is underneath of it, and he decides to put the ball back in the air. It's a strong chase by Alex Amira, though. He's going to get there, but Malik Holden gets there and gets a lovely low shot on Maitland. Saracens put some numbers over the ball. Pirates do pressure the breakdown, but not legally. So Tom Whiteley decides that we're going to kick for the goal. I think, as I said, is that Tom Whiteley coming on scrum half for Saracens? So another substitution. But that's a good kick from Vunipola. Obviously, there is a bit of a breeze behind him. Sancreen comes on at hooker for Saracens, and this will be his first opportunity to show his skill set. Saracens slow to the line out. So again, Cutmore all over Saracens' line out like a rash, taps the ball back, but Danfrost doesn't quite clear it up, knocks it on. I mean, that's a missed opportunity there for the Pirates. Good pressure in the line out, but again, not cleaned up as efficiently as I would have hoped. And Saracens will be happy with the scrum just outside the 22.
Yeah, they are. You heard there the celebrations of the small wins. And again, it came from disruption at the set piece again, which has been a recurring theme. And Pirates doing great work to disrupt the line out, but then ultimately, in a strange way, putting themselves under pressure by having to backtrack on the ball.
Fellas, just while we're all here, that clock is not right. It is not right, okay?
The ref just giving the players a heads up that the clock isn't right, so the scoreboard clock is saying 72 minutes. A couple of Saracens players putting a bit of a sweat on there, but no, they've got plenty of time to take effect into this game and get themselves back into a winning position. But ultimately, Pirates in the driving seat, all by 1 point at the moment. So huge scrum for Saracens here, though. They want to start applying pressure. They want to take their opportunities. Their scrum's been creaking a little bit lately in this particular half, so they've made some substitutions that they'll be looking to make an effect on this this particular scrum to retain that possession.
Bind! Set!
So clean scrum, but a secondary shove from the Pirates. Jackson Ray clears it up, but the ref not happy and decides it's a penalty for the Pilots. Dan Frost particularly happy with his job there. Pirate front row really stepping up and turning the screw.
Must stay in the contest.
So that's a relief for the Pirates and an opportunity to get this ball outside of the half. Sarah Cox just clacking Tyak around the head with her arm.
Be a red card in the Prem.
I know, mate. Tell me about it. TMO.
Which is a good thing, by the way.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, no problem.
Keep it open, Shawnee.
So
To the line,
a line out just inside the Pirates' half, maybe a yard or two. Vincent Cock at the front of the line out for Saracens, pulling the strings.
It's okay, I'll let you
Jack
manage.
Andrews on the pitch, though. We've talked about him earlier. Definitely going to add a new dynamic to the Pirates team. But it's a retention, it's one. Kirikiri again doesn't quite manage to bring the ball in, though, and that's 3 or 4 times now. Unfortunately, his hands have let him down. He won't be happy with that at all. That's not something that normally is the case with him. But Saracens have retained possession. Whiteley decides to box it over the top. Wedlake gets in the air well, though. Springs up like a Springer Spaniel. Saracens infringe and the penalty goes to the Pirates. So interesting tussle in the middle of the pitch here. But this, again, Pirates making a mistake, but ultimately they've made up for it in the end by the discipline of Saracens.
Yeah, great take from Wedlake there to first of all clear up the kick, and then some infringement on the floor from Saracens, giving away the penalty. I really hope the Pirates' mindset for the next 15 minutes of this game is to go and win this game now. I'm already seeing parts of the Pirates play creeping in that is suggesting they're trying to hold on, which of course is always going to happen in this situation when you look at the clock and you see yourself a point up with just over 10 minutes to go against a team like Saracens. But I think they're going to leave themselves extremely vulnerable if they try and hold on to this game. I think they have to go out and they have to try and convert pressure to get penalties, to go for points, or try and score tries to go out and try and win this game now.
As I say, it's currently Saracens' discipline at the moment that's letting Pirates off the hook. Not something you'd expect from, like you said, the juggernaut that is Saracens, where their game plan is very much based around discipline and scrutiny over the opposition. But goes for the box pick. JB Brusilier goes for it, but it's well read. And he infringes on the floor. And again, now that the Pirates had the opportunity, they were looking to play rugby in the right half, but unfortunately, Saracen player was up there. That was a little bit naive by JB. Could see the player was a little bit higher at the ruck, the more than normal, and he obviously has the right to charge down. But very clever play from Saracens.
Yeah, I think it came again from the Pirates, possibly trying to hold on. It was a great line out, complete, and an opportunity to launch. And they neglected that.
But they have missed touch, and Pirates have the opportunity. The ball is kicked back, and it's found lands. But fantastic chase from the Pirates. So they managed to retain the ball. So this game is swinging to and fro at the moment. Saracens looking to get a handle on this game, looking to get back into that Pirates 22 to apply the pressure. But Pirates at the moment are having none of it. They're chasing hard, they're hunting down every kick, they're putting pressure on every skill. And at the moment, Saracens are just not quite where they want to be.
Yeah, it was a great kick from Tommy Wyatt. Might have been his first involvement in the game, just come on at fullback from Malik Holden. A great kick, first and foremost, which found space and it bounced, and then it was him that followed up with the tackle and allowed Pirates to put some pressure on at the breakdown and get the scrum. He's a good player, Tommy Wyatt. He's dual reg from Exeter, but he hasn't taken the alternative, hasn't taken the normal route that we see with most academy players in terms of coming up through, you know, DPPs and academies and colleges. He was picked up in an outreach program a couple of years ago, and he's a 13-wing fullback, and we're really looking forward to seeing him for the rest of the championship season.
It's interesting. You do see more and more players now being picked up on a slightly different route than the orthodox academy. It just goes to show that if you're not a good player at 16, 17, doesn't mean you're not going to be a good player at 20, 21, 22, 23. So it's always good to hear stories like that. So a steady scrum there from the Pirates, being told to use it, so Fusilier digs it out. Shay Tucker straight down the neck of Vunipola, but is well met. Slow ball as Pirates forwards come around the corner. They go to that man Lamalu, who's put some yards in today. He is going to be sore in the morning.
Yeah, he's been unbelievable
again
today.
Dan Frost with the carry, takes that. I'll be honest, I think he was a bit too flat in the game line there, testing his skills a little bit too much there.
Yeah, we talked about it in the first half. Again, it's the Pirates going back to running into brick walls, which is exactly what Saracens want. They want that confrontation to just run at me as hard as you can, I'll hit you harder. We saw that a lot of the success that Pirates have got is from Lamalu, Frost, Caulfield at the line with the tip option, the out-the-back option, the use of footwork to get to those half gaps, and that is what ultimately gives you that extra half a metre that gives your backs front foot ball, gives your line, time and speed. I don't think running into someone as hard as you can is the answer today.
No. I mean, ultimately, when you look at that gain line, it's so important, because if you think of a forward carries around the corner and he gets over the gain line, the defence has to go back, and if they want to work around the corner, they've got to go back and around, and as your supporting players go forward. If you get met behind the gain line, all your supporting players have to come back to clear out, whereas the defensive team get that momentum. So it's very important that you get over that gain line, whether it be in the wide channel or in the fringe play around the breakdown. So Saracens don't mess around with the scrum this time. The ball is in and out. Whiteley feeds Vunipola, who drills it deep. So Pirates off the boot for ball. It's drilled long, but it doesn't quite go into 22. Vunipola's there waiting. Again, returns the ball very close to the touchline. It's a very good kick, but Scully's there, and he decides that I'm going to put it back down there. So we're into a bit of kick tennis.
No, stay still, stay still. Red, stay still.
And again, Saracens receive the ball. So who's going to break first? JV Bruce at the back. He's got a decent left peg on him. Decides to keep it low. He definitely didn't mean that. That's an ugly kick, but it's still rolling. It's still rolling. Flesh goes right down into the Saracen 22, where Maitland picks up, decides for a banana kick, and the ball goes out on the line. So effectively, that's a win for the Pirates in that kick tennis, I would say. They've got possession, the line out on the halfway line, but that kick from Bruselier.
For anyone who doesn't appreciate the kick game, that was the perfect example of kicking under pressure. There were 8 kicks in a row there that were kicked between the 15-metre lines and landed in the 15-metre lines. If you come and watch a unit session or a bunch of backs practicing, they will spend time after time kicking between inside that 15-metre channel. Can they land it? And it was who was going to break first, and Sean Maitland came out with an unorthodox banana kick there, and he's actually got them 50 metres up the field.
Worrying times for the Pirates now, though. JV Bruselier, it's got a bit of a knock. Is it a dead leg? Hopefully it's nothing too serious. Obviously we've talked about the replacement in Rodri Davis that will certainly make an impact in the game, but Bruselier's been doing very well at controlling the game and moving the Pirates around the pitch along with Scully, and it will be a bit of a loss at the moment, because you kind of, where we're at in the game, the score line, you need that kind of steady influence on the game, don't you?
You do, and it goes back to what we were saying 5-10 minutes ago now. Roger Davis coming on here may not even possibly be a bad thing for the Pirates, because they do look like they're trying to hold on, and if there is an opportunity around the breakdown, if there is a hole in the fringes, Rodri Davis will find it, and it might be something like that that relieves enough pressure for the Pirates to be able to sustain some pressure in Saracens territory rather than around this halfway line.
So JV Bruselier leaves the field, Rodri Davis comes on the pitch. Bless him, he's hurt his leg and the rest making him walk around. Poor fella.
James, is he on? Yeah.
But a couple of substitutions there though, so yeah, Rodri Davis enters the fray. Hopefully it's nothing too serious for JB Bruzaleos. Season's just started. You don't want to be picking up too many serious injuries. So Saracens put pressure on the Pirates line this time, but Cudmore does win it, and John Stevens clears it up. So first touch of the game for Rodri Davies, feeding Kiri Kiri in that wide channel, puts his head down. Again, lots of players both on Saracens and Cornish Pirates putting a real run to work in today. But Scully out the back decides, nope, not playing any more rugby here, I'm going to put some Sky in the ball. Alex Amira and Shay Tucker chase hard. Sean Maitland claims it well though, but is driven hard to the floor. Counter ruck from the Pirates, putting pressure on that breakdown, but the ball has gone back and Saracens have retained it. Cornish Pirates with 2 at the back at the moment with Scully and Wedlake as Saracens look for a bit of a venture down the short side.
Okay, enough. Ball is here.
So Pirates trying to put pressure on that breakdown, but the ref saying no, the ball is won, and Saracens have an opportunity just to reset themselves. Again, ball slowed down, so Whiteley will look to take to the skies. That's a very good box kick. There's a good chase coming from Seguin, but Scully gets up, but again, he jumps a bit too soon, and it's a knock-on by the Pirates, followed by a knock-on by Saracens. But yeah, I mean, this game is on a knife's edge at the moment, isn't it, Murray? I mean, it's not necessarily the most beautiful spectacle of rugby, but it's got everything else you want in a game, hasn't it?
Yeah, it's a proper contest, and for me, personally, that is good rugby for me. A proper contest, 2 teams going toe for toe, every aspect of the game. You know, not just the throwing the ball wide or the out the back passes. It's the whole contest. Every single small component of the game is being contested here.
So I just heard the announcement over the PA from Sir Phil Westron announcing that John Stevens man of the match. I would agree with that. I mean, he's put an absolute effort in, you know, claret and all. He's been on and he's been off, but he's been at the bottom of everything good from the Pirates so far today.
Yeah, well deserved. Really hard working performance from John.
And there we have it. Another scrum penalty to the Pirates. The clock is ticking down. The clock on the screen says 75 minutes, but we've had a couple of injuries, so I would say there's about 10 minutes left. But as it stands, Pirates getting that domination in the scrum, which is holding on to this lead for them as it stands at the moment. But as I said, this game is going to come down to one mistake or one bit of genius.
Yeah, I think if we were another 7 or 8 minutes down the line into the game, you could call that the Pirates scrum could be the man of the match if we continue with this trend.
So Pirates penalty doesn't find touch, and Seguin gets an opportunity to exit. He keeps it in field and Scully retains it. He gets an opportunity to put boot to ball again. He puts it up, comes slightly offside the boot, but is that Dan Frost underneath it? Saracens allow the ball to bounce, falls into the hands of Rodri Davies. It's a foot race under the try line, and that's a try for the Cornish Pirates. We talk about a mistake or a moment of genius, and so far, I mean, there's still time to play, but I'll be honest, I don't think anyone was seeing this coming so far.
I'm glad you didn't ask for my pre-match prediction before the game, Rodri, because like you say, we're not at the end of the game yet, and there will be pressure moments to come for the Pirates in this game. But did anyone see this coming?
No, I mean, I appreciate the commentary today, and apologies to any Saracens fan watching if it does seem slightly biased. It's just because, you know, every team sees the name Saracens and they know how good a team they are, but me and Murray obviously die-hard Cornish Pirate fans, and just to see them put the performance on they have so far today. But let's not count off Saracens. I mean, they are one of the best teams in the Northern Hemisphere, and there's plenty of time left on the clock. It's such a crucial kick here from Scully, so you know, this is an opportunity to put them 2 scores ahead, or to leave the door open for Saracens to nick it with a converted try. Touch judges are happy, and that's a massive kick for the Cornish Pirates. That makes it two scores, that, you know, a try and a penalty for Saracens to take the lead. With the clock winding down, I'd say there's probably about 5-6 minutes left.
Yeah, it'd be interesting to see how long the game is left. Brilliant composure from Kiri Kiri there.
We're off again. Dan Frost breaks into open space, bobs off Jackson Ray, but is eventually brought down. And again, sloppy restart from Saracens. It's been something they've been particularly good at this entire game, is applying pressure at that breakdown. But in that particular opportunity, it was a bit of a loose kick and the chase was a little half-hearted, and Pirates really took opportunity of that.
What I will say is I was at the final Premiership final 2 years ago between Saracens and Exeter, and never write a Saracens team off. I thought the game was over on that day, and they found a way to win. So the more of the game that can be played, commentators curse.
Yeah, well, there we go. And this is the Saracens that you're expecting. I mean, you see the movement on the pitch now. There's a breakdown in the penalty over there. We've got the Saracens winger on this near side getting ready for a crossfield kick. You've got the forwards coming together to set the line out. So nothing changes for them. They've got their game plan. They will stick to it, and they know that more often than not, that game plan will come to fruition for them. And it's down to the Pirates now to see out this storm or put pressure on. So discipline's going to be a huge thing here for the Pirates. But applying that pressure is massive for Saracens now. They need to convert pressure to points, which is one thing that they are renowned for being good at.
3. Yeah, we're making subs. 3.
So substitution. Jay Tyak, his day is done. I mean, fair play. There's been a bit of intensity in the second half, and he's managed to rattle out 75 minutes in the front row, dominating scrums. Fantastic effort from him. Sam Rodwell entering the fray. But again, it's a turnover from the Pirates. Darren Frost does his best to imitate Rupert Moon, getting the ball out to John Stevens. Roger Davis just trying to get a bit of stability at the back as he feeds Scully, who puts boots the ball, but it's charged down. It's a knock on though after the charge down. Bit of scuffle here though.
Pirates won't mind this. Referee hasn't called time off, so the longer this goes on, the less opportunity that Saracens have got to ultimately try and win this game.
You can just about see Roger Davis in there running between the kneecaps of the Saracens players. But you're right, time is not off as it stands. It's a pirate scrum. Hopefully there was nothing. Hopefully there was nothing in there against the Pirates that will particularly swing things. So charge down there. I mean, Saracens, there we go. They're in a high press situation now, and they're stepping up to the plate. I mean, that's the first charge, second charge down in the game, and it's at the best possible time for them.
Again, I'm surprised that the Pirates reverted back to 10 to kick, to pass 20 metres back, to kick 30 metres forward there when they were in a good area of the pitch. They were near an edge, they weren't in the middle. To kick from 9 would have possibly been a better option there. But the scuffling, the scrum has probably taken another minute and a half out of the game. So it'd be really interesting to see how long is actually left here.
I mean, now we've got the ref mic on. Hopefully someone will ask soon, and we'll be able to let you guys know.
We haven't had an issue this side. Okay,
but again, though, we look at scrums now. Time is on now, and we are at the point where we're watching that clock. The scoreboard says 80. My monitor that unfortunately has gone off was in the high 70s. But obviously they're not linked up to the ref, and she ultimately is the one who will be calling time on this game. As it stands though, Pirates with an 8-point lead as we go into the absolute dying embers of this game.
Crouch! Bound! Set!
So Davis feeds the scrum. It's a clean hook from Dan Frost. Pirates scrumming for the penalty at the moment and winning it. I mean, that's clever. I'm all about getting the ball out. I'm all about transfer of play. But you look about where you are on the pitch. You're in your 22. You're defending a lead, coming to dimes of the game. That penalty means that Scully can drill that ball, hopefully.
Just double check. Hang on.
But we're just checking if it's time.
On my watch. Is that the same for you?
So Scully just asking the question. It's time. And my word, who would have thought that before the game? Scully kicks the ball off the pitch, which sees Pirates beating Saracens in the opening game of the Championship. I mean, personally, I'm so happy. I'm speechless. Murray, give me your thoughts.
I'm astounded. As I said there, what a contest and unbelievable performance. I think, and you'll see the Pirates have out Saracens there. They've played in a very similar manner, and the way that Pirates closed the game at their ultimate the end was a huge testament to the work they've done, the coaching in terms of their organisation and the clarity they had in what you can imagine is the most high pressure environment. I know there's no fans, but you're playing Saracens with the whole of the Premiership watching, the whole of the Championship watching, For them to have that clarity, have that organisation, to be able to see that game out is a huge testament to the players, but also I think the coaches.
I mean, don't get me wrong. I think this is probably a kick up the backside for Saracens. They're not going to be happy, rightly so, with this performance because, as I said, they've come down from the Premiership. They are European and Premiership champions in years recent past, and they've come down here and they've been beaten, in my opinion, at their own game. But they will go back to the drawing board now, and I think that they're going to be coming out with a lot more vigour. But on the flip side of things, we talk about there being no relegation. There is promotion, okay, and the Pirates have just demonstrated that they've just mixed it with one of the best teams in the league, and they've come out trumps. So it's very interesting.
No bonus point for Saracens today. No bonus points. So that's a 0-point start to their campaign. And obviously with this shortened championship season, that's one game out of 10. They've got 9 games left now. How many times are Ealing going to slip up? If the Pirates can continue to play like that, how many times are they going to slip up? You could realistically look at the league after today's result and say that Saracens cannot afford to slip up again this season.
I mean, yeah, you look at the short format of the league, and that is, it halves the amount of mistakes the team can make. Newcastle went through the entire season last year without losing a game, I believe. Worcester went through the season only losing 1 game. You know, there's these teams, and they make these one mistakes. Saracens have just used their joker card, effectively, I think, in my opinion, and they've still got some very good teams to play.
Yeah, and saying that, when you mentioned Newcastle there, they didn't slip up. If they did, they had 21 other games to catch that up. This is a shortened, unique championship season where Saracens could probably afford to lose 1, maybe 2 games and get themselves into a championship final. But that's a huge marker from the Pirates, and Saracens are going to face more games without their internationals. And if they come across some of the other championship teams that are spirited as Pirates were today, they're going to be more contests.
So we're just going to take you through some highlights for you to enjoy. Obviously, if you're a Saracens fan, you probably won't enjoy them. But from me and Murray, it's been a pleasure to talk you through the action today. A fantastic start to the Premiership, the Green King IPA Championship, and Pirates will be very happy with the result. As we said, Saracens got to go back to the drawing board, and they've got some work to do. But safe travels back to them, and me and Murray both welcome you guys back for the next home game. We look forward to talking through the action then. Thank you very much.
Good.